Chasing rat reds. Oh, check this out, guys. This one's got a tag in it. Not one of our matrix tags, but one of the, I think this is a wildlife and fishery tag. I'm gonna go ahead and keep the tag so I can call it in and report it. That's a nice little, I don't know, 15 to 16 inch red. I'm gonna go ahead and let him go regardless, even if he's a keeper. He made it. He's already been caught once. We'll keep him a lucky little fish. Let's talk about some rat red fishing again, as this is what we've been doing all winter. All right, so I caught that first red, and I've went over this a million times in the last several DockSide TVs. These things gang up and they stick together, really, really concentrated in the wintertime, especially these smaller ones like this. And almost every red we've been catching lately has been right at the 16-inch mark, so you got to measure all of them. Looks like this is a measure. So what I did, I caught that first one, tide's falling really hard, going that way. And usually what I do when I'm fishing is I always put the current to my back. That way you're not fighting it with the trolling motor. But once I caught the first one, I just simply turned the boat around, and I had to relocate where that first one was caught. Sure enough, once I got up current a little bit again, bam, caught this one within probably 10 feet of the other one. So that's the name of the game. Cover a ton of water in the winter when you're red fishing. Focus on low water days when you're doing this. We had a blistering cold front just come through. We're fishing a man-made canal that's very protected. I just crossed the lake. It was absolutely a disaster as far as muddiness goes. And this man-made canal is protected. It's got big hard levees in the back, and this is the kind of stuff that stays clean, and I can still, they can still see the lure and hit it. Now what I'm using today, water's fairly decent in here considering how big that front was, but like I said, it's blocked by so much high land that this is a very well protected man-made canal. Great place to fish after hard west winds and cold fronts. And every estuary in Louisiana has these deep man-made canals that are great wintertime fisheries. You just look on a map, it's pretty simple to find. Just typically the man-made ones are straight as an arrow, and you want to find ones that have a lot of duck ponds and stuff that kind of maybe feed into it. But we're using the Shrimp Creole. I don't like this one that much in super dirty water, but when I pulled in here, the water looked fairly good, and this is one of the first lures I saw in my box. I grabbed it, put it on that bullseye, 3/8 ounce. You could use a 5/16 if you're fishing a little bit deeper, a 1/2 ounce. If they're up on one of these flats, a 1/4 ounce. You just gotta kind of play with where the fish are at. That's a 3/8 right there. And that Shrimp Creole just looks really, really good on that bullseye as they match. And let's see if we can find this little school of reds again. Keep this little bite going here. As you can see, I gotta buzz this trolling motor pretty hard to fight this current. This current's falling pretty good, even though it's slick calm right now. That west wind yesterday was so ferocious, and this is still that water on that momentum of it getting blown out of here. You know, on a west wind, this estuary loses all of its water, and on an east wind, it gains a lot of water. So it came up abnormally high as that big front was approaching. We had tornado warnings, all kinds of stuff. And when the front passed, you know, the low switches to where now you're getting the backside of it just like a hurricane, and you get nothing but west winds. And when you get the west winds, it blows all that water out, and now we're on the end of that low. Finally moved out of here. The winds are basically nothing, but the momentum of that west wind is still here, and it's just flying this water out of here. It's just going to get lower and lower and lower. This is one of my favorite times to fish redfish, is when you get these post-front conditions and super low water, hard falling tides. The one thing you do need to be concerned with is, you know, jumping duck ponds and mud flats that you're normally used to being able to cross, they may not have any water in there now. So you just want to be a little bit careful and watch it. You know, if you had to really force yourself to get into an area with the falling tide and you're in an area fishing for a couple hours and it keeps peeling out, you might have trouble getting out of there. Another one right in the same exact location. So when you hit one, when you cover in water, find some kind of mental note you can make on the marshy bank and lock that spot in. That way you come back with the trolling motor, spot lock it, anchor it, hold the boat in position, whatever you got to do, because they're going to be, you're almost never going to catch just one small red in the wintertime. They're always together. All right, so pulled a few out of that little area right there, holding the trolling motor in position as there was a little school there. Now made several casts out of bites, and now I'm just going to simply turn the boat. Let that tide's going to grab the boat. I can basically just turn the trolling motor off, just use it for, you know, getting closer and further away from the bank. And the current's going to just blow us down the canal here. Put that current to your back, let it help you cover some water. And every time we catch a little red, I'm gonna turn that boat around, hold it against the tide, and see how many we can pull out of there. You know, like I said, it's very rare they're running solo. So when you do catch one or even get a bite, you wanna kind of milk that area for a little bit, see what's going on in there. Very common bycatch right here. Whenever you're fishing these reds, the old largemouth, the green trout, they like that shrimp creole too. Sometimes we do this and it's all trout, all reds. Sometimes we do it, it's all bass. My favorite's when it's a nice mixture. Nice bass. Been a minute since got another redfish school, but a couple bass in between, keeping my interest as we look for another redfish school. All right, there we go. Finally found another red. Hopefully it's a school of them. Let me get this boat turned around. See how many are down there. Ready to chew up this shrimp creole. Put this one on the measuring stick, see if he makes the team. All right, the fish got a little sluggish on me here, so just gonna change it up a little bit. Go with one of the 3X shads. This is our limelight. See if they'll start nibbling back on that again. All right, so we've drifted almost this entire canal here. Picked up a few fish here and there, but we're gonna go back to where we caught those couple in a row. See, if a lot of times you just let them rest for a second, they'll come back and they'll want to play a little bit more. You got to kind of let them congregate back again, get schooled up again. Probably try to pull another one or two out of there and then make another drift on the other side of the bank and just come down the whole thing again. There he is. Uh-oh. This one a little bit bigger. What we got here? What we got here? Wow, these things, the bite on them is incredible. It's the same size fish. I really thought that was like a 22, 24 incher the way he was fighting. Beautiful fish, limelight. They liking that too, obviously. This is a great color, the triple laminate, the 3X. It's in a different bag. It's in a purple bag if you ever see it in the stores. That's 3 colors. It's a 1, 2, 3. It's like a green top with a gold band down the center and like a clearish belly with some flake. 3X is what we call it, the 3X shad. Beautiful, beautiful bait, beautiful fish. Another one for the box. All right. Gotta love doing this though, guys. It's totally awesome. One of my favorite things in the world to do. One of my favorite fish to eat. A small slot red. Ooh, he was barely hooked. Golly. Don't get any better than this. Nice, absolutely awesome day on the water. Beautiful, a little chilly. We got good clothes on, some heavy duck hunting style gear. Cross the lake in that cold. Once you get here, shed some clothes, get to catching some reds. Alright guys, we'll go ahead and end it on this one. Hadn't been the easiest of days, but just wanted to show you guys, don't be afraid to come out here even after the biggest fronts. I would advise staying away from the speckled trout like the day after the front, but redfish definitely don't care. This is a great species to target right after a front. Make sure to subscribe to our monthly bait box. We're using a shrimp Creole matrix. We also use some of this 3X limelight. We're going to also be sending off some different size bullseye jig heads. So to subscribe to the bait box, get these items. That'll be in there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Doing plenty of wintertime red fishing, especially this year. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys. And until next time, good fishing.